You ever stop to think about how people look at you and think you've got it all? They see the surface, what you've got, where you're at, and assume that everything is perfect, that you've got your life together, that you're living the dream. They don't see the chaos inside. They don't see how you're holding on, just barely, trying to keep it all from falling apart. Isn't it funny how people always look at you and think they know everything about your life just by what they see on the outside? They look at the shiny things, the perfect smile, the things you've achieved, and they think you've got it all figured out. They think you've got it together, don't they? They look at your car, your house, your job, and they think you're living the dream. And you know what's hilarious? They don't see a damn thing. They don't see the battle you're fighting inside every day. They don't see the chaos that's brewing just below the surface. They don't see how you're holding everything together with string and duct tape, hoping no one notices the cracks. It's like a performance, isn't it? Like you're playing a role in a show where everyone's eyes are glued to you, waiting for you to entertain them. They want to see perfection, and you're more than happy to give them that illusion, to feed them what they want. They think that because you've got all these blessings, that you've somehow earned some path to happiness, to peace. But you know deep down it's not that simple. It never is. Everyone's got their version of success. Some of them wear it like armor, parading around with their perfect lives, flashing their expensive clothes and their perfectly manicured images. But the moment you peek behind that curtain, what do you find? A mess, a storm, a person just as lost as anyone else. They're no better than you, no stronger, no more in control. It's all an illusion, and yet people buy into it. You start buying into it too. It's easy to get caught up in the lie, to think that because you have the surface stuff, everything should be all right. But those are the moments when you start feeling less than. You start questioning yourself, questioning if you're doing enough, because if you're really blessed, if you're really there, then why do you still feel so empty? Why does it feel like you're just faking it? Why does it feel like at any given moment, the whole thing might come crashing down? And that's the thing, isn't it? Perception. How others see you, how they judge you, how they assume you've got it all together because of what they see. But they don't see the internal battles, the stress, the sleepless nights, the tears you wipe away when no one's around. They don't see the times you question every decision you've made, wondering if you're even on the right path. They don't see the self-doubt, the anxiety, the relentless pressure to keep it all together, to keep up the act. They don't see the fear of failure, the fear of being found out, the fear that one day someone's going to take a closer look and see that you're just as broken as the rest of them, that you're just as vulnerable. But no, they don't see any of that. They see what they want to see, and you let them, don't you? You play along. You smile, you nod, you wave, you show them what they want to see, because showing them anything else would just make everything worse. You don't want to be weak. You don't want to be human. Because if they saw that, if they saw the real you, the one who struggles, the one who doubts, the one who gets scared, they might turn away. They might see you as just another failure, just another person who didn't make it. So you keep up the act, you keep pretending, but deep down, you know it's a lie. You know it's a performance you're putting on for the world. And one day you just wonder, how long can you keep it going? There's something about the way people perceive success that's so twisted, isn't it? like the world wants you to be successful on their terms, with their checklist of accomplishments. And when you don't fit into their neat little box of what blessed is supposed to look like, they don't get it. They don't understand why you're not just happy, why the things they think should make you happy don't seem to be enough. But here's the thing. Happiness isn't some one-size-fits-all thing. It's not about the house, the job, the status. It's not about the stuff. The real battle, the real struggle, it's finding that happiness in the middle of the mess. It's about accepting the chaos, the flaws, the cracks in your life, and still going forward. Because no matter how much you try to control everything, no matter how much you try to make everything look perfect, you can't fool yourself forever. You know the truth. You know what it feels like to be blessed but still struggling. You know what it feels like to have everything people think you need and yet feel like you're drowning. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real struggle. That's the real fight. The fight to accept that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out, because no one does. Oh, the good old struggle, right? We all have it, but nobody really talks about it. Not in the open anyway. You walk around looking at everyone else, and it's like they've got their act together. They've got the job, the house, the perfect little family. But what do they know about the real struggle? Nothing. Because the real struggle isn't about what you have. It's about what you don't have. And it's not about the things you're missing. No. It's about the things inside that you can't get rid of. The stuff no one talks about, the constant noise in your head, the pressure to be something you're not, to live up to expectations that were never yours in the first place. The real struggle is what happens when everyone else is pretending and you're the only one who can't fake it anymore. And even though you've got all these things that people would kill for, you still feel like you're standing on the edge of something, like you could fall at any moment. And you know what? That's the part nobody sees. They see the success, the perks, the good stuff, but they don't see the weight of it all. The weight of trying to keep it all together when it feels like the pieces are slipping through your fingers. They don't see the isolation, the loneliness that creeps in when you realize that no one can really understand what you're going through, no matter how much they smile, no matter how much they say they get it. They don't see how hard it is to keep up the charade, to keep pretending like everything's fine when you're just barely hanging on. Struggling doesn't always look the way you think it does. It's not always obvious, it's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet. It's the nights when you lie awake, staring at the ceiling, and the weight of everything just hits you like a ton of bricks. It's the moments when you realize that all the things you've been running after, all the things you thought would make you happy, don't actually do a damn thing. It's the slow, creeping realization that no matter how much you try to control everything, no matter how much you try to manage every little detail of your life, something is always going to be out of reach. And that's the kicker, isn't it? You can work as hard as you want. You can climb to the top of the ladder, build your empire, but that doesn't mean you'll ever feel complete. And sure, people look at you and they envy your success. They envy your blessings. They think that because you've got the stuff, you've got everything. But they don't know what it costs. They don't know what it feels like to wake up every morning, knowing that the weight of everything rests on your shoulders. They don't know what it's like to be drowning in the expectation that you should be happy because of all the things you've got. But that's the lie, isn't it? The lie that stuff equals happiness, that blessings equal peace. It's a lie you tell yourself every day because it's easier than admitting that you're struggling. And people love to talk about what they would do, what they could do if they were in your position. They love to sit from the sidelines, passing judgment, offering advice as though it's that simple. If I had what you had, I wouldn't complain. I'd be happy. But that's the thing. They don't get it. They don't understand that what's inside you can't be fixed with stuff. They don't understand that no amount of money, no amount of success, no amount of blessing is going to fill that void you feel when you look at your life and wonder why it still feels like something's missing. You've done everything they told you to do. Everything society says will make you happy, but you still feel empty. And that's the dirty little secret that no one talks about. The fact that success doesn't automatically mean fulfillment. The fact that you can have everything and still feel like you're falling apart inside. People say, "You're so lucky. You've made it. You should be grateful." And maybe you are. Maybe you're thankful. Every damn day you're still fighting, still struggling, still trying to figure out what the point of it all is. And you can't say that to anyone, can you? Because the minute you admit that, the minute you admit that being blessed doesn't mean being happy, you'll be seen as ungrateful. You'll be seen as selfish, as if you're somehow betraying all the good things you've got. So you keep your mouth shut. You keep pretending. You keep wearing the mask that everyone expects you to wear. You keep showing the world the version of you that they want to see. And you keep pushing through day after day, telling yourself that one day it'll get better. That one day the struggle will go away. But deep down, you know the truth. It's always there, just under the surface, always waiting to remind you that no matter how many blessings you have, you'll never feel whole unless you accept the truth, that the struggle is part of the package. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's something you carry with you, not because you want to, but because it's part of the story. And maybe, just maybe, the struggle is what makes the blessing worth anything at all. You know, sometimes it feels like the world's just handing out labels to people, doesn't it? Blessed, they say, as if those 4 little words somehow make everything better. They think it's an answer. They think it's a cure-all, like you can just slap it on someone's life and boom, everything's perfect. The truth is, that label doesn't mean a damn thing. It's nothing but a shiny little bow on a gift that's half wrapped. What's funny is that everyone wants it. People want that blessing, that validation, that badge that says you've made it. They want people to look at them and say, wow, they've got it all together. But here's the trick. They don't tell you about the pressure that comes with that label. They don't tell you about the fear that creeps in when you're too busy trying to protect the image of being blessed that you forget who you really are. That shiny little label becomes your prison. You're not free anymore. You're just another person caught in the lie. Another person walking around with the weight of expectations crushing you every step you take. And the worst part? Everyone expects you to stay there, to stay at the top, to stay blessed, to stay perfect. But nobody tells you how much it hurts to stay in that place. No one tells you that being blessed doesn't mean you've figured it out. It doesn't mean you've cracked the code of life. It just means you've got the right stuff to make people think you've got it all figured out. When you're blessed, people want you to perform. They want you to show up with that perfect smile, that polished image. They want you to be the role model, the success story they can point to and say, look, they did it, so can I. But here's the truth nobody talks about. You don't feel blessed. You feel tired. You feel trapped. You feel like you're just playing a part. Because when everyone sees you as a success, when everyone expects you to be living this perfect life, there's no room for anything else. There's no room for the mess. There's no room for the cracks. There's no room for the chaos that's brewing just beneath the surface. And it doesn't matter how much you've accomplished, how much you've achieved. If you're still struggling with yourself, if you're still feeling like something's missing, like you're living someone else's life, then none of it matters. You can have all the stuff, all the accolades, all the blessings in the world, but if you're not happy with who you are, none of that will fill the void. The worst part is people don't get that. They don't understand that being blessed doesn't. They think because you've got the surface stuff, the shiny image, that you should be happy. They don't see the invisible struggle. They don't see the battle you're fighting to keep up with the image they've created of you. They don't see the loneliness that comes from being surrounded by people who think they know you, who think they understand your life, but who don't have a clue. They don't see the fear that comes with knowing that at any moment, the truth could come out. That beneath all the blessings, beneath all the success, you're still just a human struggling with the same doubts, the same fears, the same insecurities as anyone else. But that's the lie, right? That success equals happiness. That being blessed is a guarantee that you've made it, that everything is okay. It's the same lie they tell you when you're growing up. Work hard and you'll get everything you want. Get the right job, the right house, and everything will fall into place. They never tell you that even when you get everything you want, it doesn't fix the part inside that's still broken, still searching. They don't tell you that there's always something more to chase, always something else to achieve, always another obstacle to overcome. They never tell you that the moment you think you've arrived, you realize there's still something missing. That blessing you thought would fill you up just leaves you feeling emptier. People see you and they think they know your life. They think they know your struggles, but they don't. They only see the surface. They don't see the nights you stay up wondering if it's all worth it. They don't see the moments when you feel so lost, so disconnected from the world, so unblessed, even though you've got everything they tell you you're supposed to want. They don't see the part of you that just wants to scream, to let the mask fall, to let them see the real you, the one who's just trying to keep it together, just trying to make it through another day. So they keep calling you blessed. They keep saying that you've made it, that you've figured it out, but you know better. You know that blessing doesn't fix the inner turmoil, the confusion, the emptiness. You know that blessing doesn't solve the problems you can't even name, the ones you can't explain. And you know that when people say blessed, what they really mean is lucky. They think luck is the answer, but luck doesn't work like that. Luck doesn't make you whole. Luck doesn't make you happy. It doesn't give you peace of mind. So you smile and nod, you go along with it, you keep up the performance, but deep down you're just as lost as they are, pretending to be something you're not, pretending to have it all together when inside you're falling apart. But hey, what's the alternative? What else are you supposed to do? Oh, the illusion of having it all. Huh? Isn't it funny how the world thinks you've got everything you need because you've got the right house, the right job, the right friends? People look at you and they think, wow, they've made it. They look at the things you've accumulated, the success you've achieved, and they assume that somehow all of that translates to a happy, peaceful, perfect life. And you know what? It's the biggest joke in the world. The truth is, it's never that simple. The things people think make you complete are just distractions. They're shiny little toys that the world tells you will make you happy. But the deeper you go, the more you realize that all those things, all those accomplishments, they don't fill the void inside you. They don't take away the emptiness that you feel when you're alone with your thoughts, when the applause dies down and you're left to face the person staring back at you in the mirror. When you're walking around with that illusion, when you're wearing the "I've made it" smile, what they don't tell you is that the moment you think you've arrived, you realize there's always something else to strive for. There's always something more to achieve. It's like a never-ending race. You get to one goal and then they tell you to go after the next. You get that promotion and suddenly you need to make more money, own more things, be more. You get the perfect house and now you need the perfect car. You get the perfect partner and now you need the perfect family. But when does it end? When do you get to breathe? When do you get to look around and say, I've done it, I'm happy? You don't, because you're never really finished. You're never really satisfied. You're just always running on the hamster wheel, chasing that next carrot, the next piece of success that's going to make everything feel worth it. But deep down, you know it won't. You know it's all smoke and mirrors. And the worst part is when you start to believe the lie. You start to believe that these things, these labels, these achievements are what define you. You start to think that the outside world has it right, that if you just have the right job, the right status, the right image, everything will be perfect. You start to think that if you're blessed enough, if you've made it to the top, you can't possibly have any real problems. But let me tell you something, the moment you buy into that lie, you're done. Because then you're stuck. You're stuck trying to live up to a standard that's impossible to maintain. You're stuck chasing after things that are never going to fill that hole inside you. And it's exhausting. It's like constantly running uphill with a boulder on your back. And no matter how hard you try, you never get to the top. And you know what happens when you're stuck in that cycle? You start to forget who you really are. The more you try to keep up with the image of perfection, the more you start to bury the real you, the person you've always been, underneath all the stuff you've accumulated. And you wonder, doesn't anyone see it? Doesn't anyone realize how heavy this is? Doesn't anyone notice how lonely it gets when you're surrounded by people, but you're still carrying all of it alone? No one sees it. They just see the perfect you. They see the person who has everything together. They see the person who has all the right answers, the perfect smile, the success everyone else wishes they had. And you know what? You let them see that. You let them see that version of you because it's easier. It's easier than letting them see the cracks, the moments when you're terrified that everything you've worked for will come crashing down. It's easier than admitting that the perfect life they think you have is just a performance. It's easier than showing them the part of you that's still struggling, still hurting, still trying to find meaning in a world that constantly tells you that more is always better. But there's no escape, is there? No matter how hard you try to fake it, no matter how hard you try to live up to the world's expectations, that nagging feeling doesn't go away. The feeling that maybe, just maybe, all this stuff, this success, this blessing isn't enough. The feeling that maybe you're just fooling yourself. You look at the people around you and you see them going after the same things, climbing the same ladders, chasing the same carrots, and you can't help but wonder, what happens when you get to the top? What happens when you achieve everything they told you would make you happy? The answer is simple: nothing, because there's always something else. There's always more to want, always more to strive for, always more to accomplish, but the truth is, none of it really matters if you're not happy inside, if you're not at peace with who you are. And when you finally get the courage to look at yourself and say, I'm tired, I'm done, I don't want to play this game anymore, that's when the real struggle begins. Because now, you have to figure out what comes next. You have to figure out who you are without the label, without the stuff, without the illusion of having it all. And that's the hardest part. But nobody talks about that. They just keep pushing you to chase, to run, to climb. They don't care about the person you're becoming along the way. They just care about what you can show them, what you can give them. And that's where the real battle is. It's not out there in the things you're trying to get. It's inside you. And it's the one battle you can never escape. You think everything's perfect, don't you? You think the answer to your problems is just a matter of having the right things. You've got your car, your house, your job. You've got all the things people say will make you happy, will make you feel whole. The right clothes, the right status, the right people. But do they make you happy? Do they make you feel complete? Or are they just distractions? Because let me tell you something. Those things, they're just window dressing. The world doesn't tell you this, but those things don't make you happy. They never will. They might fill the space for a little while. They might give you a shiny new feeling. But eventually, it all fades. It all loses its luster. And then what do you have left? Nothing. You're standing there, surrounded by all these blessings, and all of a sudden, it hits you. It's all empty. It doesn't mean anything. And you try to tell yourself that it's fine, that it's enough, that it's all you need. But you know it's not. You know deep down that there's more to it than just filling up your life with stuff. There's a hole, a gaping, empty space that no amount of material possessions can fix. You can buy a new suit, a new car, you can buy anything you want, but it won't change the fact that you're still carrying around the same empty feeling. It's like a void that keeps swallowing up everything, no matter how much you try to fill it. And people look at you, don't they? They see the stuff. They see the nice things you've got, and they think, well, they've got it all. They look at you and they assume that everything's perfect, that you've got the answer to everything, that you've cracked the code of life. But they don't see the truth. They don't see the parts of you that are still broken, still empty. They don't see the quiet desperation that creeps in when the lights go out, when the applause dies down, when you're left alone with your thoughts. They don't see how much it hurts to keep pretending, to keep up the mask that you're happy, that you've got everything together, when inside you're just falling apart. They don't see the battles you're fighting, the inner struggles that no one else can understand. And that's the thing, isn't it? No one gets it. No one understands that having it all doesn't mean you're happy. It doesn't mean you've solved the problem. It doesn't fix the emptiness you feel inside when you close your eyes at night and wonder if this is all there is. It doesn't solve the questions you can't answer, the doubts you can't shake. People look at you and they see the surface. They see the things you've accumulated. They see the things, but they don't see the cracks. They don't see the stress, the loneliness, the pressure to maintain the image, to keep up the facade. And it's a lot of pressure, isn't it? It's exhausting. You have to keep it together. You have to keep up the act. Because if you don't, people will start asking questions. People will start wondering why you're not smiling, why you're not jumping for joy at all the things you've got. And that's when the real struggle begins. That's when you start to wonder if you're even the person you were before all this started. You look in the mirror and you don't recognize the face staring back at you. You've become a character in a play, a puppet on a string, and you're just playing your part. The blessed part, the successful part, the one everyone thinks has it all. But you don't. You never did. You were just playing the game, and now you've lost yourself along the way. But here's the thing no one wants to tell you. You don't have to play the game anymore. You don't have to keep pretending that everything is perfect, that everything is fine. You don't have to keep up the act. You can drop the mask. You can stop pretending that all this stuff is enough, that it makes you whole. But that's easier said than done, isn't it? Because once you realize that all the things you've been chasing aren't enough, once you realize that you've been lying to yourself for so long, it feels like you're standing on the edge, like you're about to fall off into the unknown. And that's scary. It's terrifying. Because what comes after the illusion? What comes after the lie? What happens when you stop pretending and you start facing the truth about who you are, about who you've become? People won't get it. People will try to pull you back into the game. They'll tell you that you can't quit, that you can't walk away from the things you've worked for, from the things that are supposed to make you happy. But that's just more noise. That's just more distractions. The truth is, you don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. You don't need their applause. What you need is to stop pretending. What you need is to face the fact that maybe, just maybe, you've been going about this all wrong. You don't need to have it all to be happy. You don't need to fill the void with stuff. The world told you that it's about more, more, more. But what if the real answer is less? What if the real answer is to strip away everything you've been holding on to and find out who you really are? When you take away the stuff, the expectations, and the labels, maybe then, maybe only then, will you start to find what's been missing all along. You know, it's funny, really, how much time we waste pretending that everything's okay, pretending that we're in control, pretending that we have it all figured out. But we don't, do we? No one does. The world tells you that if you just play the game right, if you just follow the rules, if you just get the right things, everything will fall into place. They tell you that success is the answer, that happiness is a result of what you own, what you've achieved, what you can show off to the world. But we both know that's a lie, a big, fat, ugly lie. Because no matter how much you try to convince yourself that all of it, everything you're chasing is what you need, deep down, you're still empty. It's like trying to fill a hole with dirt. You throw everything into it, all the stuff you're told you should want, and it just keeps slipping away, and there you are, standing at the edge of this giant hole, thinking that if you just throw a little more in, a little more success, a little more money, a little more approval, it'll finally fill up. But it won't. You can't buy happiness, you can't buy peace, and you can't buy contentment. You can buy a new car, a new house, a new wardrobe, but it's not going to make you feel anything different. It's not going to fill the hole inside, that gnawing feeling that something's missing, something that none of this stuff can fix. And the worst part? People are watching. People see you with your shiny new toys, your perfect image, and they think you've got it all. They think you're doing fine. But they don't know what's really going on inside. They don't see the cracks in your facade, the moments when the smile fades and you're left alone with the weight of it all. They don't see the fear that comes when you think about the future. They don't hear the quiet voice in your head asking if any of this even matters. And maybe, just maybe, that's the most terrifying thing of all. You're stuck in this illusion, and you can't get out. You can't let go of the act, because the moment you do, people will start asking questions. They'll want to know why you're not happy. They'll want to know why the perfect life you've been selling isn't enough. And that's when you start to unravel, isn't it? That's when the cracks in the perfect image you've built start to show. Because you've been living in a lie, and the moment someone challenges that lie, everything comes crashing down. It's exhausting, isn't it? Playing that part, pretending to be someone you're not, pretending to be happy when all you really want to do is scream. You think you're doing the right thing, that you're following the path everyone tells you to follow. You get the job, you get the house, you get the car. And then what? What happens when all those things you thought would make you feel complete leave you feeling more empty than ever? What happens when you realize that it's not the things that make you happy? It's not the approval of others that will fill the void. What happens when you start to see the world for what it is? A giant game where everyone's just pretending to be something they're not. And you're stuck. Stuck in this world of superficiality. Stuck in this world where people care more about your image than who you really are. It's like you're on a stage and everyone's watching. And if you stop acting, if you stop playing the part, they'll all see you for what you really are. Just another lost soul trying to make it through. And what's worse, you start to believe the lie too. You start to believe that this game is real, that the things you've been chasing are the things that matter. You start to believe that happiness is something you can earn, that success is something you can achieve, and that all of it is going to make you feel whole. But it won't. You know it won't. Deep down, you know that none of it is enough. None of it will fill the hole inside. You've been playing the game so long you don't even remember who you were before. You've become the mask you wear. The shiny car, the perfect house, the Instagram photos. It's all a performance, a facade, a joke. And you're the punchline. And no one gets it. Everyone's so busy telling you how blessed you are, how lucky you are, but no one sees the cost. No one sees what you've sacrificed to keep up the act. No one sees the pain behind the smile, the exhaustion behind the success, the fear behind the mask. And you wonder, when does it stop? When do you get to stop pretending? When do you get to just be? But you're stuck. You've built this house of cards, and if you stop playing, if you stop pretending, it all comes crashing down. So you keep going. You keep pretending. You keep selling the lie, because it's all you've got left. And you tell yourself, maybe, just maybe, this time it'll be enough. But you know it won't. You know it's all a game. And the worst part is, you're the one who's losing.